So good morning, everybody. This is Biology Fundamentals, Biology 1308. This particular course was designed by ACC to do two things. Number one, it's designed to help students who would like to go into allied health programs, so nursing, surgical technology, radiology, dental hygienist, but may not have the science background or it's been a while since they had science, and so or they did a whole different. They were doing a whole different job someplace else, and now they need a really good foundation in science in order to be successful in the prerequisites, which are anatomy and physiology 1, anatomy and physiology 2, microbiology for the health sciences, and pharmacology. Okay, so that's one of the things, right? Some people will tell you that this course will help you pass the assessment for anatomy and physiology. And while that is true, that is not one of its goals. This course's goal is to make you proficient in in the fundamentals of biology so that you do better when you go on to these other prerequisites and then eventually to whatever professional program you're going to go into. Okay, so that's the first goal it has. The second goal it has is that it is a non-majors course, and it serves as a credit for somebody seeking a degree in teaching, or maybe some other thing like fashion merchandise. I don't know. There's some other things out there, right? And so it will allow you to have that credit without having a lab, because a lot of times when you are in those disciplines of either things like teaching or things like that, and you're going to be teaching elementary or middle school, but you're going to be teaching history or something like that, you need a good understanding of science, but you don't need to be an expert in science, right? So this will allow you to get 3 hours credit, because that's what most universities require, is 3 hours credit. 4 hour credit would be a course that has a lab, right? So this allows you to get that credit um, without having to take a lab. Okay. So if you are here for any other reason and you're not sure if you belong in this course, you can stay afterwards and we can talk, and then make sure that you're in the right course. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay. So although I do not require a textbook, here are some older textbooks that you might be able to get a hold of if you want something to be able to help you, right? We have modules, and I'm going to show you what those are in a little bit. But the learning modules, the the textbook that we have developed, ACC has developed, are better than any of these things because they don't have uh, a lot of extra text. It's just simply talking about the really important things that you guys need in order to be successful in the prerequisites and in the nursing program. Okay, so you can get a hold of some of these books. I was in Half Price Books 2 weeks ago, and I saw several of these texts out there, right? So I saw this one, I saw this one, and they were like, I don't know, $7 or $8. Okay, so something that is just a introductory biology book. Okay, you don't need anything more than that. Okay, the course itself is a face-to-face course, but because of Omicron, we're going to be on Blackboard on Mondays and Wednesdays for the next, really, it's the next week, right? So we had Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday on Monday, so we didn't meet. We're meeting today. It's our first day, and then we'll meet next week. And next week we'll meet Monday and we'll meet Wednesday, and then the following week on the 30th of January, we're hopefully going to be back in the classroom. Okay. So you'll need access to a computer, right? And so I've got a couple of follow-ups I need to do. One of them for Edith to find out if she can go to Highland campus. Okay. Any questions? So here's how you contact me, right? So our um, our meeting room is going to be in the Rio Grande campus at in 1231. I'm at Riverside. I live at Riverside, so my office number in Riverside, if you're on Riverside, it's in 2291 in Building A. Here's my office number. Don't call that for the next 2 weeks because I won't be there much. But here's my cell phone number. I'm giving you my cell phone number, and I'm giving you permission to call me from the hours of 8 o'clock in the morning till hours of 8 p.m. And so usually I'm not glued to my phone like a lot of people are, but I will respond to you as soon as I see that you called or you've texted me. I will respond to you. Okay, good. Office hours, I will usually be online 30 minutes early so that you can come in and ask questions. Um, and when we're in class, I will be on campus about an hour early, but come look for me. I'll figure out where I'm going to have my office once I get back on campus because I was telling Zoe and Chriselle earlier that the entire campus has been remodeled and it's updated. So I'm not real sure where I might be able to hang out just yet. But as soon as I figure out where that would be, because it's going to be my second time. I taught on campus at Rio Grande last semester, but this will be the first time that I'm going to need an office because last semester I was the only guy there. There were very few of us teaching face to face, right? But this time there's going to be a lot of people face to face. So as soon as I figure out um, where I can be for you all to come and find me, I will let you know. Okay? But you can always call me. You can always text me. You can send me an email. Okay. So BIL stands for Biology Innovation Laboratory. And this is, we had a grant about 8 years ago, and 10 of my colleagues and I got together and we redid this course completely so that it could be more interactive. Okay. So before class, what I want you to do is look at the interactive online module, right? That's going to be a requirement. It's embedded in the course materials. I'll show you where it is in just a little bit. And it will allow you to go through the material and then it will give you a few little kind of checks, right, to make sure that you're understanding the material, right? And because it's a module and because it's online, you can go through it as many times as you want. Okay. There are going to be guided notes and objectives for you. I'll show you where those are in a minute. You will make a copy of your guided notes, or you can fill it out online if you want. Um, and then you'll need to make a copy of your objectives because you're going to be turning in objectives to me, or at least letting me see them. And they're going to be worth 5 points for each one you turn into me. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Okay, good. So let me see. I missed that. Oh, Chriselle, are you talking to me?
Oh, well, I guess everybody, because on mine, I was able to see your last slide, but the slide with the book I couldn't see. Then I saw your last slide, but the slide that you're talking about now, for me, my page is white and it has like the dots that keep loading. So I didn't know if it was like that for everybody
Oh,
or just me.
so you might not have. Okay, if that continues, you might have to. Um, yeah, I'm recording this, Chriselle, so you'll be able to see it later. If it, you and I will need to talk about how we might fix that. Okay,
Okay,
but
I
I'm
could.
I'm
Oh,
recording this so that you'll be able to look at it. Okay.
okay. I'll also back out of the session real quick and come back in. Sometimes that helps. It could just be my internet.
Sometimes it does, but sometimes if you haven't turned off your computer in a while, it yeah, it may be that um it just needs to be turned off and then turned back on. And then you're right also, Edis, is that there might be just internet problems. There's all kinds of things. that can
Okay.
happen, unfortunately.
Got it. No, that's
Okay,
okay. Sorry for interrupting.
okay, okay, no problem. And I don't mind people ask questions, and you can either put it in the chat. I'm paying attention to the chat, but you can also just turn your mic on and ask questions. Yeah, there's only 14 of us, so I it's there's if you just want to ask questions, you don't even need to raise your hand. You can just ask questions. Okay. Anybody have any questions about what I expect you to do before class?
No, sir.
All right.
For the modules, it's before class every Monday and Wednesday, or just for the week?
No, so there'll be a topic every day.
Okay.
So yeah, yes, Ivory.
We're supposed to do what before class?
Go through the modules and fill out your guided notes.
Okay.
Okay. I'll show you where those are in a little bit. Okay. So during class, we'll interact with each other. So I believe that knowledge is constructed by people engaging in discussion, right? So if it's just me talking, then you're not gonna get much out of it. But if you talk with me and we discuss things, or you talk to each other, you're gonna learn a lot more. So I want you all to ask questions as frequently as you want to. Okay. And then after class, um, if you didn't get to finish the module objectives, you'll do that after class. Those are worth 5 points each. So you're going to be showing them to me. I will come around in class. I'll look at them. I'll give you feedback, right? And then you can contact me if you need additional help with understanding the material. Okay. So how are your grades earned? Okay. So here it's broken down very nicely for you. So let's go through it a little bit. So you can earn 11.5% by doing what you should be doing anyway, right? Taking notes, filling out the objectives, because they're worth 5 points each, right? So that's 11.5% of your grade. We're going to have activities that I'm going to have you do to reinforce what we're doing. Um, that's 17% of your grade, right? 170 points. There will be quizzes for every single topic that we cover, and you're gonna have a week to complete those quizzes. Unless we get close to an exam date, I may say you only have till Friday to do it, right? And you get 3 attempts at the quiz, so you can take it the first time. They're worth 5 points each. And let's say you get a 2. Oh, okay, what does that mean? Well, that means you don't really understand the material. So go back, look at the material again, then you can take it again. And if you take the quiz again and you get a 5, well, then that's good. You understand the material. But let's say you get a 4.5. What that means is, I'm pretty good, because if you extrapolate 4.5, that really is about a 90%. And is it really worth the other 0.5% of the point? No. Because if you take it again and you get a 3, then the last grade is going to be recorded, right? So I want you all to be able to manage how you're learning, but I also want you to gain as many points as possible. So if you add these things up right here, right, that's 40% of your grade from just doing what you should be doing, being an effective student. Okay? It's really homework. That's what it is. Yes, Annabella?
I had a question about the quizzes. So if you
Okay.
had to retake them, would they be the same questions or would it be like a completely different?
There's several different questions, but there's only, like, I think in some cases you have 10 questions, and I think there's only 15. So you're going to be seeing some repeats.
Okay.
Okay. But so that, I don't know what you meant by that, but what I want you to master is the material, not the quiz. Okay? So
Got it.
this is me showing you that I want you to be successful, but I also want you to understand the material. So I'm letting you take the quiz 3 times, right? And hopefully, when you take that quiz either the second or third time, you've mastered the material enough that you feel confident with it. Okay? But I
Okay.
don't want people to go in there and, take the quiz the first time, but take a picture of every single question, then go back
Yeah.
in and because that's just defeating the purpose of these types of assessments. Okay,
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now, the more important part and what will distinguish a C, a B, and an A in the course is that we have 5 units and there'll be 5 unit exams. Each of them will be worth um, 100 points. So that's 50% of the grade. Okay. And then at the very end of the semester, we'll have a comprehensive final exam that will cover everything, and that's going to be 10% of the grade. Okay. If you do well enough with all of these things here, all right, let's say you earn, I don't know, 884 points. Let's just say you earn 884 points. How many points do you have to earn on that comprehensive final to make an A? Maria Teresa, what do you think?
Be 16 points. So,
Well, so yep, 16 points is all you need. So really, if you have done well throughout the entire semester, kept up with what I've asked you to do, then if you earn 16 points on that final, you get an A. Anything past that is gravy. Are you with me? So what
yes.
I'm doing is I am setting you up for success in this course. All you have to do is what I ask you to do, keep up with the work, study when it's necessary, right? People will tell you for every class you're in for college, you need to study three hours, right? So if you meet twice a week, you need to study 6 hours. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you put in enough work for me by looking at the module ahead of time, doing the quiz, doing the objectives afterwards or during, right? Then you've already put in sufficient amount of time. To me, you only need to put in the time that's necessary, maybe an hour, to make sure you understand the material. Okay? So it's manageable. One of the most one of the one of the most important things that act as a barrier to our students at ACC is time management, right? Because they typically want to leave things to the very end. Don't do that, because if you do that, you're not going to do well. And if you develop those habits early on, then when you go to anatomy and physiology, microbiology, and pharmacology, you will be more likely to be successful. So not only am I going to help you understand what it takes to be successful in biology, but I'm going to help you understand, because I've been doing this a long time and I've been a student for degrees 4 times, right? I've got a bachelor's degree in biology, a master's degree in biology, a master's degree in health services research, and a PhD in education. So I've done this a lot, right? There is a group of individuals that kind of sees things the same way I do, and that group is called Capital Idea. Does anybody part of Capital Idea? If you, yeah. So if you're
Yes.
part of Capital Idea, I am one of their partners. They like the way I do things because I help their students be successful. But I help all of my students be successful. Okay, good. Any questions? I'm a big proponent for Capital Idea. All right. So you can see that there's 1,000 points that can be earned in this course. If you want to make an A, you have to earn at least 900. But I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, she's one of my favorites. I'm going to tell you right now that if you make 893 points, you're probably going to get an A anyway, because every time we're in class, I'm taking notes about who's participating and who's not. And if you're participating, I might say one day, Edith, you know what? You made me happy today. I'm going to give you one extra point. So there's going to be extra credit that's going to be earned just because you made me happy that day. Okay? That is wonderful. You tell her, Maria Teresa, that I think she's wonderful, but she probably knows that already. Okay?
I think she's pretty great too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. If you want to earn a B, you have to earn at least 800, right? And if you earn a B or an A, you're going to be successful in other courses. If you make a C, then you and I need to talk. If you make below a C, then you and I definitely need to talk. And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be watching your progress the entire time, so that if you get in trouble, or if I feel like there's something missing, you and I are going to talk way before it gets out of hand. Okay? I am going to be your biggest cheerleader. Okay? Any questions? All right. Maria Teresa, I'm so excited that you're proud about what your mother does, because she does a wonderful service to our students. Wonderful. Okay. So here you can see objectives, right? You complete them before class, but if there's some things you just don't understand, come to class. We're going to talk about it. And then we're going to clarify that. And so one of those things that I want you to do, those guided notes and those objectives, is that when you get those things put together, you can take a big binder like this one, buy you a big binder like this one, and put them in there. And so when you have those guided notes and those objectives, you're ready to study for the exam because you have everything you need, right? So you put those in there, and then when it's study for the exam, go back and review the things that you had a little hard time doing. Are you with me?
So
Yes,
that mean,
Gretchen?
so we have to print all of them, all the guidance.
I would.
Okay.
Okay, so you can print them at ACC in the library.
So you're just going to check them at the beginning of the class. You're not going to take them with you.
Well, sometimes, like when it's a harder topic, I might take them with me so that I can review them.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because like with harder topics, I want to be sure people are getting it. And when I check them in class, what I'm looking for is, I know that there's some really important concepts, and I will turn to those concepts and make sure you understand those, because if you can understand those, you can understand anything, right? I've been doing this for a little while.
Okay.
But when it's a harder topic, like for instance, when we talk about uh, the formation of chemical bonds, that's a hard topic. I might want to take those home and look at them individually, so that I can give you really good feedback about how you're understanding those. Okay? Good?
Okay.
Um, for the objectives, if we miss a class for any reason, is there a way we could email them to you, or is that something that has to be checked off in class?
So I tell you what, if you can show them to me by the next class time, like, so for instance, if on Monday we're going to do levels of organization, right? Your objectives are due on Monday. But let's say for whatever reason, I don't know, you didn't bring them, you forgot them, right? Don't get upset. Just bring them on Wednesday, and I will count them as fair. But after that, then they're not. They might be late points, okay?
Okay.
But to earn the 5 points, then you have to turn them in on time, right?
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. there'll be activity checks, and I'll give 34 points every unit. So there might be some things we do, and then one of these things I might say, this is a proficiency check. This is what shows me that you understand, right? So we're going to be doing the metric system. We're going to be doing conversions. That's hard for a lot of people, but I'm going to make you an expert at it. Okay. So there might be one of the things that I say, this is a proficiency check. It is worth 20 points, right? So you got to turn that in, and I'm going to review it, and I will give you feedback about that, and you'll get a score for that. Okay. Good. Everybody with me?
I had a question over
No,
the.
okay, hold on. Nadia, what you can do is if you have a camera, you can show it to me online. Okay. So for instance, if you have a camera, you can say, okay, here it is. And I'll say, okay, go up, and you go up like this. And I'll say, okay, turn the page, and you turn the page, and I'll say, okay, go up. And so I can do it that way. It's real fast. Okay.
If I take my notes on an iPad, is that still acceptable, or would you like me to do it on paper?
No, I'm okay with the iPad,
Okay.
but you're just gonna don't forget your iPad, right?
Well,
So
no, that like stays with me. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't need to go like grab a notebook real quick after class for Monday or anything.
no, ma'am.
Okay.
So if you are a note taker on iPad or your tablet, I'm okay with that. Okay. You can, but let's try to just let me see that in person. And the reason I say that, Chriselle, is not because I'm trying to get out of it, but I don't know if you know this, but I'm the assistant department chair for biology, and I get over 200 emails on a daily basis. So as much as possible, I want to be able to check those in person. Now, for the metric system, I'm gonna have to see those and take them home because they're pretty involved, right? So we'll just the first one is gonna be quite easy. I think you are not gonna have a problem. It's like 3 pages only, so that just kind of gets you warmed up for the entire class. So that should be real easy for you to show me if you have a camera. If you don't have a camera, you're not going to be able to do that. Excuse me 1 minute. I have to do something. Hey, sorry you all. I am a cedar fever sufferer, and I had to blow my nose real quick and take a little water because my mouth was getting really dry. So, okay. Anybody else have any questions about the objectives or the proficiency checks, the activity checks? All right. Yeah, yeah. It's getting better though because it started earlier. And then the quizzes. So you'll be taking a quiz after every topic we do. Um, like for instance, after the levels of organization, you'll take a quiz, right? And then if you want to take it, you can take it up to 3 times. You can get up to 5 points. Some people are going to get 5 points all the time, which is fine, right? It's like a scavenger hunt, right? You're trying to get as many points as you can. Are you with me? So get as many points as you can, especially the ones that you have complete control over. You have complete control over the quizzes. You have complete control over the activities. You have complete control over um, the objectives. You should earn all those. Everybody should earn 400 points for those, right? And you can work with each other, right? You can share information. The only time you can't share information is when we take exams. Okay? Any questions? All right. I'll show you where those are in a little bit. Okay, unit exams, they're a tool that's used to help me understand how you're doing, right? And so when I put this presentation in Blackboard, it converts it to a PDF, and sometimes there's some shifting of images and things like that. So you're not going to be able to see all this, but I'm just saying that that there is a schedule for all the topics and the exams that I've already posted to Blackboard. Has everybody seen that? Has everybody seen that already?
Yes.
Yeah. So that lays out everything we're going to do and when we're going to do it. Right?
I have another question. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, good. Ask.
The quizzes are going to be in person or
Online.
they're online? So all
They're
quizzes
online.
are going to be online.
Correct.
What
But
about
the
uh-huh,
exams will be in person.
the, okay. So how many
Okay.
exams are we going to have?
5 plus a final.
Okay, the quizzes are online and the exams are in person. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Unless Omicron goes crazy and then we have to stay online, well, I'll make adjustments. Okay. Good. I'm pretty flexible. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, I hope so. I hope not. Makeup exams. So listen, there's all kinds of reasons why you might miss an exam. So I will give you one. I'm not going to even ask. You just tell me, ProV, I can't make the exam today. And if it's the first time you do it, I'm not even going to ask. We're just going to figure out a way for you to do a makeup. Okay? Good. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that there is no testing center at the Rio Grande campus right now. So if you're going to have to take up a makeup exam, it's probably going to have to be at the Riverside campus. All right? Good. But I'll give you one. I don't know. You might just say, yeah, I just don't feel like I'm ready. Don't tell me that. I don't want to know that because to me, you should be ready. But you can just tell me, ProV, um, I like to use my makeup. I'm going to give you one. I'm not going to ask any questions for one, right? Pick it anytime if you need it. Some people won't need it. But after that, then you better have a really good excuse for why I might give you a makeup because I usually don't give makeups. Okay? Yes, Crimson?
I have all of my other classes I'm taking this semester are on the South Austin campus. So if I needed to, could I like take one of my makeup exams if I needed to on that campus, or
Nope.
does it have to be
Nope.
Riverside?
It's going to be Riverside.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. I don't go to the South Austin campus. So it will be at Riverside. Okay. Good.
Yes.
So again, take it in class. It's at Rio Grande. If you have to do a makeup, it'll be at Riverside. Okay. And the reason it's going to be at Riverside is because I know those guys really well. I'm very particular about how my materials are handled. I do not like my materials to get anywhere except where they need to go. And so I'm a control freak. I'm a scientist. Everything about science is controlled. Okay? Good. That way I can make sure that I'm treating you as I would everybody else. Everybody's being treated the same way. Okay? Good. All right. So again, if you have to take a makeup, you take one makeup. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to say, I'm just using you as example. Ivory, okay, no problem. I'll have a makeup ready for you. Okay. When do you want to take it? And usually it's within a week's time. Right. But after that, you better have a good reason or there will be no makeup. Okay. Any questions? All right. Now you don't want to give up 100 points. So be sure you keep on track with things. Okay. If I catch you cheating, mm, uh, you'll get a 0 on the exam. Okay. There is no cheating on the objectives. There is no cheating on the quizzes. There is no cheating on the proficiency checks. I expect you to work together. The only cheating that might occur is if I see that you really haven't been doing your stuff and then I come in one day and you borrowed somebody's paper and you're just copying, then that's cheating and you'll get a 0 for that task. Okay? Good. Do not use when you're doing, whew, don't get me started. Okay? Any questions? I do not do retest. So retests are a high school thing. So if you in high school, if you take a test and can have a retest, they give you a chance to make it up. Yeah, we don't do that. Okay, and there are no curves, right? I mean, I'm giving you an opportunity to earn 1,000 points. So you can miss 100 points and still make an A. Okay. All right. So I put this slide in here and people think I'm mean. Be ready to go 5 minutes before. I we were talking to Zoe before. You know, I want you in class as much as you can be. So if you have an issue in the morning and you have to run 30 minutes late, I would love to have you for 30 minutes instead of not having you at all. You're never going to interrupt me from by coming in late. So if you come into our Blackboard sessions late, come in. If you come into our classroom sessions late, come in. I do not lock the door. You are welcome in my class if you're my student anytime we're in class. Okay? You're welcome in my office anytime my door is open because I expect people to come in the door. Okay? I also expect that we talked about how much time you should be spending outside. Most people say 3 hours, but that's really important for microbiology and A&P. But for this course, because I'm having you do so much work around the class, before and after, you spend as much time as you think you need for ready. And sometimes you don't know that till you take the first exam. Let's say, man, you feel really good and you take the first exam and you make a 70 and you're like, what happened? Well, come see me. Let's talk about what went on, and we'll figure out what happened. And then you can adjust the amount of time you think you might need to be more successful. Okay? All right. So get organized, right? So buy a binder if you need to, or if you are working on a tablet or an iPad, then figure out how to make the files so that you can access them very easily. Okay. Uh, Check your email, ACC email, because I'm going to be sending you an email every day. So in this class, I'm very paternalistic. I want you to succeed. I'm going to do everything that is humanly possible for you to succeed, including giving you direction for every class. So expect that you're going to get an email from me either this evening or tomorrow. I'm pretty busy this afternoon and this evening, so it might be tomorrow. But I'm going to lay out exactly what you need to do. Okay? And all you have to do is look at that. Now, I'm going to send you an email, but it's also going to be an announcement. So the announcements are going to be a permanent record of every time I communicated with you about the course. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Get help if you need it. You can see me. You can see a tutor and an open lab. And I don't know if there's any, I have to check to see what other campus we might have face-to-face, but a lot of times I make arrangements. Like for instance, if there's a friend of mine who might be working at South Austin or a friend of mine that might be working at Highland, what I have is an arrangement with them. And I basically say, some of my students may need to come see you, and we make an arrangement that you just go to that. If you can't come to me, you just go to that particular professor's office on that campus. So for Edis, I think it's closer to go to Highland. So I might make an arrangement there with somebody, and they'll be happy to help you. Right? All you have to do is say I'm one of ProV students. Hey Corey, you're working really great, buddy. Okay. So they will let you print. It's part of the fees you pay. So they'll let you print, I think, 15 pages at a time. So there's ways around that. right? So you can go to the library and print 15 pages, then take a break and go to class, come back and print another 15 page. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's ways around things. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So here is one of my former classes. Every one of those people in there was successful. Every one of them. Some of these individuals are uh, not in nursing anymore. But so Heather, this young lady right here, ended up loving science so much, she got a master's in science. But these two individuals right here, Megan and Kat, they they became superstars. They're nurses, right? And so um, this young lady is in Colorado, and this young lady is here in Austin, right? And all these other folks, sometimes I hear from them, and sometimes I don't. But I try to keep up with as many people as I can because I'm interested in your success. And once you're a ProV student, you are a ProV colleague for life. You can always contact me, and if I can help you, I will always help you. Okay? Questions? All right. So this is me, right? Well, that was about 5 years ago, but I have more gray hair now. But you can contact me by email, by phone, text, whatever, right? But if you do that, then be sure. So Dr. Juarez is a good friend of mine. She's at South Austin campus. Some of you are going to find out she's probably the preferred instructor by Capital Idea for anatomy and physiology. So if you are need to send an email, be sure that you mm, help me understand what's going on, right? Else, this is a good email, okay? Some others are not so good, right? So I want you to be sure you have a clear subject line because remember, I get 200 emails a day. If it doesn't look important, I'm not going to open it till later, okay? So give me a little bit, and so you might just say, hey, I'm in your 1308 class. You're my only 1308 class this semester. And then after about the third week, you don't have to say you're 1308 because I'm going to know who you are. Okay. But you want to be sure, like, be careful how you send emails because, if you send me an email and your email address is baby doll, I'm probably not going to take it pretty serious. Right. So just, I might think that's kind of like, I don't know. So please be sure that you use your ACC email to communicate with me. Right. So clear subject lines, right? Something bad would be, hi, Mary R, or nervous system, right? What do those tell me? Right? Much better, we'll miss test number one because of a sick child. Questions on the nervous system, or can we meet on Tuesday, 9:13 at 1 p.m.? Right? Those are better, okay? Because it tells me that there's a real need there, and I'm going to look at those emails a lot quicker. I will try to get back to every one of your communications within at least one day. Okay. So why is this important? Well, this is me. I had surgery. I had my left shoulder replaced. You can see here I am. This is another one of my students, right? So my student, her name is Katie also. Um, she saw my name on the surgical list, and she changed her schedule. And so when I had surgery, right? I saw my wife after surgery, and then she said, "Oh, somebody came by to visit you." I said, "Nobody knows I'm here. I didn't tell anybody." But it was my nurse, and Katie came in and said, "Hey, ProV, do you remember me?" I said, "Katie." I actually called her Smiley because she smiled all the time. I said, "Are you my nurse?" She goes, "Yeah, I changed my schedule so I could be your nurse." And so she and I problem solved the whole time. But so why is this class important? Two things you should know every day you come to my class. Number one, where you stand in the class, right? You should know what grade you're making every day. Everybody's making an A right now, okay? The second thing you know is, why is it important? Well, this is the foundation for which you are going to be a professional to help patients get better, right? Yeah. So I have a vested interest in you all being successful. Not only just because I care about you, I don't know you very well, but I still care about you. But also, I'm getting older and I'm going to get sick and somebody's going to have to help me, right? Are you with me? Right? So, yeah, my legs are skinny. My wife tells me that all the time. So, anyway, final thoughts. You know, I've had thousands of students who have come to me in like you have. And those thousand students have mostly been successful, right? If you look at pick that dude or rate that guy, you'll find out that people who take a class with me, 87% of them make an acceptable grade. That's really good. Well, that's because we put the work in. You and I put the work in to make sure that we are both successful, right? You can be extraordinary, but you have to have ganas, right? Who knows what ganas is? Anybody know? What's ganas?
You want to do it.
Zoe, tell me what ganas are.
That means you want to do
The
it.
the desire
You
to
have
want to do
you
it.
have desire.
Oh,
It's a Spanish word for desire. You want to do it, right? I am the chief inspector of ganas, and I have extra ganas, and I'm gonna give you some if you need them. Okay? Anybody have any questions? All right. Okay. So let me tell you how I developed the course, or how we, my colleagues and I, developed the course. A long time ago, when I was in school, it was about the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? And it's still important that you can read to comprehend things. It's still important that you can write. And it's really important that you can do simple mathematical equations. And what I mean by simple mathematical equations or problems, I mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I don't mean calculus. I don't mean geometry. Those are important for certain things, right? If you're going to be an engineer, you better be able to do calculus and geometry. But for what we are working on to become a healthcare professional, you don't have to be somebody who does calculus or geometry. But you do have to be able to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay. But times have changed, right? And so not only is it is about having the hard skills, right? And so the hard skills would be like computer programming, a skill set, right? You might be able to fix a car. That's a skill set. That's a hard skill. But nowadays, in order to be successful in business or in life, you have to develop your soft skills. And your soft skills are things like communication, flexibility, leadership, teamwork, and time management. I've already talked a little bit about time management. It is an obstacle to a lot of my students. One of the reasons, because I've had 3 careers already. I'm a microbiologist by trade. I was a clinical microbiologist. I was an environmental microbiologist. And then I moved into pharmaceuticals, and I spent 20 years in pharmaceuticals. And now I'm in academia, and I've been teaching here full time for 10 years. And I've got a few more years left before I retire. But my goal has always been that when I got ready to kind of slow down, that I would give back to the community, because I've had the privilege of having some really good people who took care of me. Because my mom and pops, my mom went to 10th grade and my dad was a high school graduate. So when I started taking high school courses, he couldn't help me with some of the things that I needed help with, right? Because he was limited in his understanding. My mom had to quit because she had to help the family. Are you with me? So, because I got involved with certain groups of people, they helped me develop into who I am today. And I've had some really good mentors and I've had some really good teachers, and they've inspired me to do that. So much so that when I started teaching full time at ACC about 10 years ago, I had so much free time because I was in the pharmaceutical world. I was responsible for all the scientists in my division. I had 294 people who reported to me. I had a lot of free time because I was used to working 90 hours a week. And now I only had to work 40 unless I wanted to work more. So I went back and got a PhD, and I just finished that. Um, and so anybody can do it. And the reason I teach at ACC is because you are my people, right? I grew up in the barrio. And if a kid from the barrio can get 4 degrees and only spoke Spanish when he was younger, if a kid from the barrio who only spoke Spanish can get 4 degrees, anybody can do it, right? So what I'm telling you is you're my peeps, and that's why I teach at ACC, because I want you to be successful. Okay? Flexibility. Maybe you've seen this before. Maybe you've come in and somebody's doing something, say, hey, I need you to help me with this, and they get all flustered because they were doing something, and now you have asked them to do something else, and now they feel like, oh my God, my whole day's been ruined because I I have to do this thing, right? That's inflexibility. People need to be able to be flexible, because as a nurse or as a dental hygienist or as a surgical technologist or whatever, a teacher, you're doing something and then something happens and you have to change what you're doing in order to help somebody else, right? So that's what being flexible is. Leadership is not just about being the boss. Leadership is about working a group of people, and you see that somebody is struggling in your team and you go over there and you help them. You're not the boss, but you help that individual be successful. That's leadership, right? That's part of being a good team member. And people, employers who are hiring people, want people who can work in a team. Okay. So lots of publications out there, but this particular one had a really good graphic, so I'm using it. So the top the top employers were asked, what are the 5 most important things you see when you hire somebody? What is it that you want these individuals to have? And they said, we want them to be able to synthesize and analyze new skills. We want them to be willing to learn, right? We want them to critically think about things and problem solve. We want them to have interpersonal communication, and we want them to be able to work in a team. Okay. Every course that I teach at ACC keeps this in mind. I meet with my external customers, and my external customers are the nursing program. I meet with them. I just met with them on Saturday. What can I do to make sure that our students are more prepared for you? 23 of my colleagues and I met with the nursing program. So I'm not the only guy. 23 of my colleagues that teach in the biology department met with the nursing program on a Saturday. Those are all people who want you to be successful. The nursing program wants you to be successful. They were willing to meet us on their day off because that's the only time that professors can meet with people is on Fridays and Saturdays because the rest of the week they're teaching, right? So we met with them and we continue to ask them, what can we do to make our students more successful? So what has happened, and you might see that ACC has taken this up as one of their goals, right? The three R's have become the four C's. The four C's are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. So this all goes back to what is in the research, what employers want, what our external customers want, the nursing program. And we go back and we listen to what they want, and then we develop our courses so that they meet those requirements. Okay? Now, creativity is not about being artistic, although it can be, right, in certain disciplines. But creativity is about thinking about problems in a way that you might be able to solve them because you have the background and the knowledge, because you took a course like biology fundamentals and you have the background and the knowledge. So now, there's 14 people in this class. There might be 14 different ways to resolve a problem, and all of them are correct because everybody is using a different way of thinking about that problem. That's what creativity is. It's not just about being artistic, right? And I love art. You might look at the back of my walls and you can see that I like art, and I like art, all kinds of art. The ones that are on my back wall are mostly religious art. Um, and I like the stories that those pieces of art talk about and tell. I love the story, right? But I also love the story of the impressionist, of all these different people. So throughout my house, I have different types of art. I like wildlife, so you're going to see a whole bunch of images in my house about wildlife, right? And I don't know if you know this, but there was a fire in Bastrop, and my wife and I bought a little place in Bastrop to help to save the Houston toad, which is a little tiny toad that was going extinct. My area yesterday was completely evacuated because of the fire. And so we were a little bit nervous yesterday. So I was very distracted, much like Ivory is today because of his situation. So, but once I felt like they had the fire under control, then I could go back to thinking about you guys, right? So last night you might have seen that I sent you an email pretty late, and that's because that's the time I had to really focus in on you all because I was distracted before then, right? Any questions so far? So this is what most students want to do because they feel it's easier. They want to memorize. Memorize is the worst type of learning. It's short term. You remember something, right? And then you don't use it anymore and it goes away. Better is to understand something, because if you understand it, then you understand the mechanism well enough so that you have that knowledge, right? Teachers spend most of their time here. They want you to be able to analyze and apply knowledge, right? So I've developed this course so that you're going to be able to understand, to apply, and analyze material so that you can understand it and you can use it, right? But if you work in a group, then you are at the highest level of learning because you're creating, right? And you're evaluating. So this is what I hope to be able to do when we get back to the class is I'll put you into small groups and you guys will be doing that. The evaluating here you're going to be doing as you complete your objectives, right? Because you're going to evaluate the information that you just saw on the module, and then you're going to finish these objectives for me and then turn them in. So I'm going to utilize almost every one of these things, right? Memorization has its place. Okay? You should memorize the fact that we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10:30 to 11:50, right? That's memorization. Right? But after the semester is over, that's not important anymore, right? That's what memory does for you. You could remember somebody's birthday, and that's important. And that eventually, because you love that person so much and you care for them or you care about them, that birthday becomes part of your long-term memory. 512-882-5867. That is the phone number of the house I grew up in, Corpus Christi. That house has been sold to somebody else, and that phone number belongs to somebody else. It's not important to me anymore, but because it's in my long-term memory, I'm going to know it forever, right? Can you see the difference about how memorization is an ineffective way to learn, right? You need to be at these other places, okay? This is called Bloom's taxonomy. And I and my colleagues have structured this course, and I structure all my courses so that we use Bloom's taxonomy. We stay away from memorizing, but we work with understanding, applying, and analyzing. And then you all, as individuals and as in groups, you work to evaluate and create, which are the top of that. If you can work in a group with somebody else or two other people to work with this, and I'm going to try to get with Capital Idea to see if they can have tutoring sessions. So if you go to this, you might be working with other people taking 1308, and you guys will be working in groups, and that's a very effective way to do that. When you guys get into anatomy and physiology and microbiology, you're going to be working in lab groups, and that's a very effective way of learning because you're in that group, you're sharing ideas, right? I believe that knowledge is constructed by the group. So everything I do in the class is going to be about us being in a group, okay? Except for the times that I'm just kind of helping make sure that you understand material, okay? So it's all about the use of your knowledge and your brain. If we think about this, we typically use only about, I don't know, 4 to 14% of the entire brain, right? But, if you come to class and you just sit there and don't engage, can you everybody see my little pointer? Look at your brain activity. It is not doing much. Even when you're sleeping, your brain is more active than when you are just sitting there listening, right? Because you're thinking about other things. What am I going to have for dinner? My girlfriend is hot. You're thinking about all these things, right? But if you're asleep, you're dreaming, and look how your mind is. When you're doing homework, because you're engaged in doing your homework, your mind is really thinking. And if you're doing active learning with me in the classroom, because we are talking about things, we are doing things together. So this is kind of like the lab, right? In other courses. This is why it's called the Biology Innovation Lab, because we took the concept of working in groups and put it into the lecture, right? And what we call the inverted classroom or the flipped classroom, right? And so this is important because I want you to be using that brain, because if you are actively engaged in learning, and that means discussing, taking notes, doing things so that you're engaged in the information that's in the classroom, then you're going to learn a lot more than if you just simply sit there. Okay. So I'm going to encourage that there's discussion between you and me, right? Number one. I'm going to hopefully help you work in groups so that you're comfortable working in groups. I'm going to encourage you to actively learn. I'm going to give you really quick feedback, right? I'm going to see things, tell you, okay, this is how you handle this, or that's correct, good. On exams, give me about a week and I'll get those exams back to you, right? And it might be even less than that because there's not many of you this time. Usually I have, 24 to 32 students. I only have 14 this semester. So, it should be pretty easy. Time, um, time is important. So manage your time because I'm going to emphasize that things need to be turned in on time. I'll communicate my expectations. That's why we're spending this time doing this today. And I am going to respect and embrace the differences that we have as individuals as part of this class. And I'm going to use that to an advantage to help other people learn. Okay, good. Any questions? So before class, you guys are going to do the modules, and I'm going to show you what those are in a minute. You guys are going to fill out the guided notes, and you're going to start the objectives. But the objectives, remember, you can turn them in during that class period. That's when they're due. But I'm going to give you one more class period, right? So on Monday, if you don't finish them, you can show them to me on Wednesday, and it's still all good. Okay? During class, we're going to engage in academic talk. We're going to collaborate with each other. We're going to problem solve with each other, right? Active learning. And then after class, you're going to I'm not going to do discussion boards, but you're going to finish your objectives, you're going to take the quiz, and you're going to get ready for the next day. And if you do all this, then you're going to be successful. Okay? Anybody have any questions? So we have about 8 minutes left, and I'm going to show you where everything's at. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And when I share my screen with you all, I cannot see the chat. Okay? So if you want to ask a question, you're going to have to ask it in your mic. Okay? Okay. I'm going to share my screen. And now, can everybody see my arrow? My little hand. Okay. So I can't see the chat, right? But here is our Blackboard side. Now I have a lot of things on here. You can only see some of the things, right? So the first thing you can see is announcements. And I'm going to communicate with you on the course, and I'm going to send you announcements. I'm going to send them to you as an email, but they're going to be here as part of the record. Okay. This is Collaborate. You guys know that. And every time you go on to Collaborate, the sessions are going to be in here, and they're going to be ready for you to be engaged. This is the syllabus. And so here's the syllabus, and here's the schedule for all the things we're going to do. Okay. Under course materials, this is where the bulk of everything you'll need. So the course orientation, I'm not going to give a quiz for that this time, but I need for you to be sure you understand, and you might understand just because of everything we did today. But if you open up the first unit, and the first thing we're going to do is you're going to see an introduction. You're going to see there's a little video from me talking about things, and here's our first topic that we're going to do on Monday, module 1.1, levels of organization. So if you open that up, you're going to see that here are the guided notes, right? And so you can make a copy of the guided notes right here. Here is the module. This is your textbook. I'll show you that in a minute. Here are the objectives. Make a copy of those. Here's an example of a PowerPoint that we might be looking at next time. And then there are some different activities here. Do not worry about the activities. I can't see the chat. Don't worry about the activities. I will select them and then I will send them to you ahead of time. Okay? Good. So if somebody chatted it up, I can't see the chat. So if you want to ask a question, go ahead and do so.
Oh, sorry, I was raising my hand. So the guided notes and the objective, that's the stuff that we should be printing,
That's the stuff that what? I'm sorry?
that we should print.
Yes. Or if you're using an iPad or tablet, you can do that on there. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So check it out. If let me go ahead and explain everything else, right? So the only other important thing that's here is build, document, and quizzes. And so in here, what I did was I separated out some different things. So if you open up levels of organization, I have a lot of things in here, but I have just highlighted the quiz. There's where your quiz is. Write this down. Quizzes are under build, documents, and quizzes. That's where you're going to go. So you're going to open this up, right? And then when you open this up, you'll be able to take the quiz. The quiz is ready. It's open for you already. Okay. So if you do the objectives, if you watch the module, you do the guided notes and the objectives, and you're ready to take the quiz, you can take the quiz anytime before next Monday, or even after next Monday. I'm going to give you a week to get it completed. Okay. So the last thing that's important on here that you can see is information. So here's my office hours, both at Rio Grande and at Riverside. And then here's my CV, right? I have to update with my PhD. I haven't done that yet. But here's my manual. And so I don't have a tutor just yet, but if I do, I will do that. So this is hidden from you. You're not going to be able to see it. Okay? So that's the entire course. Let's go back to course materials. So if you go back to course materials and open that and go to levels of organization, and here is this little package right here is the module. So if you click on that, what's going to happen is there's going to be another screen open up. Can you guys see the other screen? Somebody say yes. Somebody say if they can see that. Somebody say
No,
yes.
I can't see it. It just
No.
says the
Okay,
disabled thing.
nobody can see it. Okay, maybe it's not going to let me do that. Okay, so
It says there's a pop-up.
it's a pop-up. That's right. It's a pop-up. So okay, maybe it's not going to let me show you. But if you that's where your textbook is, and it's interactive, right? So you'll have to follow that. This one's a pretty short one. I don't know, it's probably 16 pages. So I'm asking you to go through this and practice with it. Okay, so levels of organization are pretty easy to start with. You should be able to complete that in a timely manner and be ready to go for our class starting on Monday. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Chriselle, you good?
I think so.
Okay. Anybody else? Edis?
I think I'm good.
Okay. All right.
So we can
Anybody
start
have any?
studying and get ready for the quiz as soon as possible, right?
Absolutely. Do it now if you got time.
Yeah, that's what I plan on. Yeah, I got you.
All right.
So
Anybody
we
else have any
so
questions?
we
Go
just
ahead.
read let's say you just do the 101 unit and then you do the test, right?
1.1.
1.1
So
and
make a copy of the guided notes and of the objectives. Open up the module, go through the module, and as you're going through it, fill in your notes, right?
mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, do the objectives. Okay?
Okay.
The objectives are worth 5 points. The guided notes are for you, so you have a way to study. Okay?
So
Okay.
for Monday, we're going to need to have the objectives and the guided notes ready for you to check when we get to class.
I will just look at Crimson. I will just look at the objectives.
Okay.
Okay? Chriselle.
Okay,
Yo,
sorry.
okay.
Just to be clear, so like for example, it says module 1.1, that's what we do now. So the net, like let's say like tomorrow we don't have class, I don't need to do 1.2, right? That's
No,
we only do them
no.
after each class.
1.2 is for Wednesday next
Okay,
week. Okay.
so we only have a lesson after each class. So
Yeah.
we
So,
do them.
Chriselle, if you will print out that topic schedule, it'll tell you what we're doing every day.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have a question. I'm looking at
Okay.
the course schedule and under
Yeah.
homework and textbook readings, you
Uh-huh.
said that there's 16 pages in
Only
1.1.
only if you have a textbook, Maria Teresa. If you don't
Oh,
have a textbook, it's just the module.
okay.
Okay?
So then we disregard the pages that are supposed to be read
Yep.
and
Yep.
instead we
That's
do the
so
module.
I try to provide lots of different ways for people to be successful. Some people like books, so I leave those in there if people want to have the book. And that's for the recommended text that's on the syllabus. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I was trying to find those pages before
Yeah,
today's
yeah.
class and I couldn't find them. And that's why I
If you
couldn't figure out
want
what they
them,
correlated to.
yeah. So the module is better. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Zoe, what's up?
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to just to make sure, obviously we follow the schedule on the topic schedule
Yep.
you have for us, right? For modules
Yep.
1.1. And
Right.
then for the quiz, it says module 1.1 quiz due Wednesday, January 26th.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay. So we could do the quiz before as long as it's due
Oh,
and
yeah.
done by
Anytime
that
before.
time.
But if you miss the deadline, that's it. 5 points down the drain.
Okay, okay. No, no, that's
Okay?
fine. No, so we just follow this schedule and that based on this schedule, that's how you want us to do the work. So like the
Correctamundo. I might
modules,
even give you a little more time for the first few times for the quiz. Okay?
mhm.
I might give you a little
Okay.
more time. So people are getting used to it. Chriselle's still kind of like, I'm not sure about this guy.
Right. No, no. As long as we
Yeah,
follow this schedule, we're on
yeah,
track.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And you know what, Zoe and everybody, I'm gonna send you an email in a little bit, maybe tomorrow, because I'm pretty busy today. I have another class coming up in about an hour, and it's a majors class, so it's a lot different. But so I have to get ready for them. But at some point, if not today, then definitely tomorrow, I will send you a note telling you exactly what you have to do for Monday. Okay?
Okay, sounds
Promise.
great. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anybody else have questions?
I am good.
Okay. So Edith, I will try to follow up for you on your question.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, who else did I have that I had to follow up on?
And I'm sure they have the labs open too, right? If we want to go make copies.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
library for sure, I think, is open. Let me check. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, let me check.
All right.
Okay, you
Uh,
guys, go ahead. What's up?
no, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
listen.
Oh,
I